making Pani Puri. It's a street food from India for those of our American friends out there. It has a kind of shell, I guess you would say, made out of semolina flour. Those I am not making today, I will say that. Any aunties out there that would like to send a recipe for the actual puris, that would be great. We get those at the Indian store downtown. So today we're just going to be making the water. It's made with mint, cilantro, or coriander leaves, as they're known in India. Green chilies, tamarind. I have the concentrate, but you can also use paste, or if you're really good, the fresh made stuff from the pods. We get this again at the Indian store. Right now, all I am doing is peeling my ginger. I personally like to just use a spoon. I think you get the most product and the least amount of waste. So that's all I'm doing right now. After I'm done with this ginger, I'm going to throw the other 5 ingredients into the blender. If you're making a small batch, you can use a spice grinder. That works too. Our spice grinder kind of only has a small blade at the bottom, so I don't really like to use it. Alright, that should be good.
Yeah.
I like these better. And I'm just putting in 2 of these packages, which I would say is like a quarter to a half of a cup of mint. I'm taking off most of the stems. They are kind of woody, and so I don't really think they chop up as finely. So I just kind of break those off. And then relatively equal parts of the cilantro, also known as coriander leaves. This is kind of old, so I have to use 2 bunches.
So are we making it spicy, extra spicy, or?
No, these are pretty mild. And
No, I mean the spice levels. So how many green chilies are you going to put in?
I'm sorry. For most of my recipes, I put 2, sometimes 3. That is for an American palate.
Can we do 3, please?
3. However, my in-laws, my Athea, she definitely cooks a lot hotter than I do, and has expressed that when we do go to India, she will make a different batch for me. Thank you. For those of our viewers out there that have sensitive ears, this is a pretty noisy blender. I love it. It's professional grade. I got this coming out of culinary school. But one time I did make the unfortunate decision to teach a class of students who are on the autistic spectrum how to make hummus. And I took into consideration all the senses except for hearing. And needless to say, the class was very short because it caused a lot of a ruckus. So, FYI, if you need a quieter blender, don't choose Ninja. Okay, so that was the ginger, the mint, the cilantro, and I put 3 chilies per size request, and some tamarind. This is concentrate, so I'm only going to do like a very light tablespoon, more like a half a tablespoon. It's very sticky. It has caused my cupboards become very sticky, and I constantly have to clean up every time I use it. So, warning there. I should probably put on a little water actually.
Need help?
Just putting in a little bit of water just to get it
Probably it needs a little more.
blended.
Yeah.
Probably about half of a cup there. I haven't even eaten it yet, and it's already getting up my nose.
Sorry.
So, for this, we're making what's known as the water. For Pani Puri, you dip the whole stuffed puri into this water. And the idea is it's trying to be smooth. And so, this texture I have now that's kind of chunky, we're going to try and get rid of that. So, keep blending.
I think it's good.
I think, yeah, that's pretty good.
Smells really good.
It's very herby for sure, because you've got the mint and the cilantro in there. And then it's also definitely spicy. Don't inhale too much. So,
Yeah, we are going to put that
in a bowl.
paste into a lot of water so we can put more and more as required. So we're not going to mix water in that.
Since marrying Sai, my blender has gotten probably the most action of its life. Before we became a couple, this thing made, breakfast smoothies, maybe some protein shakes, and that's about it. Since marrying Sai, it's used almost daily. For yesterday, I made palak paneer, which is a spinach curry with these blocks of kind of cheese in this. And we make all kinds of other curries, various chutneys. One of my favorite meals is dosa, which is kind of like
Pancakes, very
more like
crisp.
crepes,
Yeah, crepes.
because they're so thin and they get crispy. And the idea is you dip them in all kinds of chutneys.
What is the chutney?
Chutney is a sauce, basically, and they are based on one particular fruit or vegetable. Like, for example, there's tomato chutney that's primary ingredient is tomatoes, or garlic chutney that's primary.
It's, I think
I'm thinking of ginger. aren't I?
Ginger,
Ginger
yeah.
chutney. That one's really good. That one's my favorite. It's sweet though. It's not, and a little spicy, but not really. So now we have the base for our water that we made in the blender. I'm gonna spice it with chaat masala, which is a blend of various spices. Cumin. I have a very large spice cabinet, so I found.
She means that.
Yeah, I have found mason jars to organize them nicely. That's cumin. And asafoetida. This is, how would you describe this?
I have no idea. It's called hing. I'm pretty sure most of the Indians know that.
Yeah. It provides kind of a tangy taste.
But it's very distinctively very tangy.
Right.
I've never tasted
Right.
anything like that.
And warning with this, don't use a lot. It moves things along. So we're just gonna use for the chaat masala 1 teaspoon. For the cumin, also 1 teaspoon.
Probably just add like cup, maybe like 1.5 if it's not strong.
Yeah, it's not very strong. All right.
FYI, I did not make a mistake. That was cumin powder.
Yeah, it's just not. Maybe I need to buy some. Maybe I need to buy some new. It's not very strong. Alright, and this, a pinch, a very small pinch.
It has a big hole, be careful.
And 1 teaspoon of salt. Stir that all together, and we will add the water as needed in a little while. So now that we've made the spicy herb water, we're going to make a more sweet kind of water. This one involves, again, our friend tamarind, about the same amount, half-ish tablespoon. We'll introduce some new ones here. Jaggery. This is not a spice, it's more like dark brown sugar. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of that. And those of you that want a trick on how to keep your brown sugar or your jaggery from becoming hard, you can put a slice of bread in it. Same with cookies. If you put a slice of bread in with your homemade cookies, they'll stay fresher longer.
Make good tips.
Yes. Again, our friend chopped masala. We're going to do another teaspoon of that. And cumin, teaspoon.
Oops.
Oops, I'm wearing it. Maybe I should have worn something less nice. A 1/4 teaspoon of plain black pepper, the table variety we have here. I'm just going to kind of measure off the side. Chili powder. If you have a more mild palate, about a 1/4 teaspoon. If you're wanting a little bit more spicy, do it up as you wish. I would advise no more than probably 1 teaspoon. Again, asafoetida or king.
Hing.
Hing. And just like a little pinch. Another teaspoon of salt. And then 3 cups of just cold water. We'll whisk this together when I get all the water in there.
So I've been given the permission to cut some onions and make some guest appearance. So
Potato too when it's done cooking.
yeah.
So there's multiple ways you can cut an onion. Most professionals will do as size done so far and will cut the ends off. Then they'll cut down the very center, making kind of 2 halves of the circle. And then do semi-slices, keeping the ends kind of intact. And then cutting again horizontally and then against all of those cuts to make small dices.
Yeah, but since I'm not a professional, things are going to be a little.
He has a tendency to go around the very center, as you see, and then
There is a
chopping.
scientific explanation for it though, and it is that the chemicals that cause, the eye irritation, apparently, a large concentrate of it is in the bulb. So that's the reason I cut it off and then I slightly clean it so that some of the chemical washes away. So that I don't cry.
Size tip of the day. So we're using Vidalia onions. They are native to the Georgia area. Vidalia, Georgia to be exact. And they tend to be more sweet than the average onion. We also have here available Spanish onions and red onions. Red onions will be also on the sweeter side. Spanish onions will be most likely the ones that make you cry. And they tend to be stronger in flavor. I simply bought these Vidalias because they were on sale, to be quite frank.
If you guys are wondering where I learned chopping, so I used to work in campus dining in my master's. So before they can send you into a restaurant inside the campus, that could be just being a server or anything, you're required to take mandatory training. So that's where I picked up this ninja skills.
Where did you go to school?
So I went to University at Buffalo. That's in Buffalo, New York.
And what did you study?
And I studied masters in data science. So it's generally a 1.5 to 2 years course, but just to save money, I finished it in 1 year.
What do you recommend for those coming from India or an outside country to the US for school? Any tips, tricks?
Just do it. Nothing.
What was your primary reasoning for going?
My master's?
Yeah.
So I was actually working as a data scientist back in India, and I felt that sort of having this solid mathematical understanding of different machine learning algorithms, I felt that I was lacking there, so I thought a master's would be really good. So that's the reason I came for my master's. And also secondarily, a lot of projects that you get in US are generally a bit technically more challenging than the kind of projects you get in India. So both for work, both for like self-learning, and not to mention the job opportunities, right? Data science and computer science are kind of booming, and if you really want to study computer science, I think US is a pretty good choice. Yep.
Cutting them small enough that we can mash them. So they should be plenty soft to mash, yeah. And
Really hard.
maybe use a pot holder or a paper towel. Yeah, there you go. Or tongs. So this will be the stuffing to the Pani Puri. The stuffing will be, as you can see, mashed potatoes, onions. Normally we would put some more cilantro in there. We ran out. For the water, I did. And then all of our spice friends from before, cumin, chaat masala, pepper, chili pepper, and salt.
I am very good at destroying things, so.
And that's the goal of this, is to smash it all together. Just get a bowl. Yeah. For those of you that are curious, we might do a kitchen tour later. Most of my mixing bowls and bakeware and casserole dishes come from Fiesta ware. This is purely a me thing, not necessarily an American thing, that I picked up from my grandmother and great-grandmother. My great-grandmother had the whole set, and I believe she passed it down to my Mimi. That's what I call my grandmother on my mother's side. And they had antiques for a very long time. Unfortunately, they got sold or misplaced or something. So I have bought my own simply as a kind of reminder of my grandmother. So, yeah. All right, so to finish up the stuffing, we're going to mix the potatoes and the onions. And then we're going to get back to our spices over here. It is again 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of chaat masala. Oh, I put it in the sink. I'm sorry. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. However spicy you want it, somewhere between 1/4 teaspoon and 1 teaspoon of red chili. And then about 1 teaspoon of salt.
One of this
Yes. Wait. What size is that?
teaspoon.
1, 2. Okay, good.
Yeah. So one of the dishes that we were making previously, I messed up teaspoon and tablespoon.
So for those of you that don't know, a tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. So if you ever mix...
One of each?
Yes. So if you ever mix up your spice volume and you use a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon, you can then multiply all your other ingredients by 3, and you will have the same percentages of all your spices. Yes, you'll have 3 times whatever you were intending to make, but it will taste just as good. Okay, and now you're gonna mix/mash all of that. Maybe easier with the potato masher. Yeah.
Are you satisfied with my guest appearance?
Yes, you did a wonderful job. So here we share a lot of the cooking and the cleaning. When I'm working late nights, I tend to make a lot of the dinners, and a lot of the times on the weekends or right now, we're kind of going back and forth. Yes, I do make Indian food regularly, but I also make Irish, French, German, or generally American food. And then
I really got lucky there.
And then Sai almost always just makes Indian food.
Like they say, stick to your strengths.
Picking up the herb water. Right now it's very concentrated, so we're just going to add some more water until we get the flavor that we like. It can be as strong or as weak as you like it, depending on the amount of water you put in.
Migu is being full-on teacher. Cooking teacher.
Pretty good. How to eat these. This is the puri, like I talked about earlier. It's a semolina flour puff, and it's fried. That they make the dough, fry it, preserve it, and we just get them at the Indian store. I know, kind of lame, but you can make them yourself if you want to. I don't know how long it takes though, so. But anyway, to eat them, so you just crack the top. You need a little bit of force, but not
crush them.
too much, otherwise you're gonna crush it. Just make a hole big enough to put your stuffing in. Indians do use their hands for pretty much everything, and it is just cyanide, so I'm just gonna use my hands. We're gonna gather a little bite of the potato and onion filling. Stuff that whole, okay? I like a little bit of raw onion on top, just like that. And you can either submerge it in the herb water or the sweet water. I'm gonna go herby because it's the closest one. So you submerge the whole puri, stuffing and all in there. And this is a 1-bite thing, so it's not gonna be pretty. If you're wearing, nice clothes or something, this is not the meal for you, okay?
Spicy?
Mm-mm.
Good. Good job.
And that's it. That's Pani Puri.
Yeah, you can alternate between the sweet and the spicy. And pretty much that's it. So
So,
now we'll have them.
Good night. Enjoy your dinner. And let us know what meal we should make next.
Yep. See you guys. Bye.